Yeah, what a Wednesday. It's Dominic D'Angelo of adfreeshows.com, SEScoops.com, several other outlets, but I'm here today, Rumor Innuendo, as usual, with Robert Karpelis, WE Creative _ish. Robert, man, I am amped up today. How about you?
Dude, you are fired up. You're in a yellow shirt like you're in Robert Altman's Popeye.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on here, man, but I'm excited. I was literally on a work call that just wrapped, so I'm a little late to the party, but happy to be here at the party and happy to be joined by a couple of folks live in the chat. Greg Jacobson says, "Happy Wednesday, gang. Seems like you guys are in a good place." Oh, we are, and we'll get to that. Ron Ward, I've got a great idea for a sitcom. It's Robert trying to get Dom to pronounce European hockey player names correctly. We can get bonus content of Scott trying to spell it.
I'm not bad at European hockey player names, just saying.
I like that. And then Thigh Slaps and Steroids says, let's get Hump Day started off proper with Dom-ish and R&I. Love it, guys. Love that we are here for a jam-packed Wednesday edition. Dom's all fired up. He's got his Knicks hat. Let's get rolling.
Let's get rolling indeed, like Jalen Brunson down the court, huh? Hey, okay, we're going to talk a little bit about AEW Dynamite.
You said a boot. You went Canadian on me because we mentioned hockey for 11 seconds.
I know, right? I'm in mode now. WE is forming a new relationship with a certain promotion. I'm going to touch upon Vince McMahon's a little statement he had on the
Can you not raise that as I'm going to touch upon when talking about the Vince stuff?
Good point. Good point.
Begging you, Mr. D'Angelo.
Touche, Robert Karpelis. And then we're going to talk a little bit Cody Rhodes and NXT last night. But Robert, as usual for a Wednesday, let's start off with AEW Dynamite and what that show has on tap. The Dynamite is going to be featured in a main event of Will Ospreay taking on Rey Fenix for the AEW International Championship.
I just noticed you labeled this episode with the Dynamite.
I did. I
love that this is your gimmick now. It's your thing. I'm just a passenger on this journey. What was that match you just said, by the way?
Funny you should say it that way because it seems like it's very understated. It's Will Ospreay taking on Rey Fenix for the AEW International Championship. That is the featured match of the night.
That's a big match. That was so Rey Fenix won the 4-way for this, correct?
Correct, yes.
Which I thought was a 4-way for competing for the TNT title.
Nope.
Which is a totally separate tournament that's going on.
Correct.
And we're having this match despite the fact that there was a Danny Garcia video package promoting how he wants to challenge Ospreay for this title and overcame the car accident and years of struggle to get where he is now.
Mm-hmm.
And Ospreay is the #1 contender for the world title. I'm still piling on. I'm piling on, Dom. And so we're getting babyface Rey Fenix versus Will Ospreay on free TV in the main event of the Dynamite.
And it almost seems like Rey Fenix is overshadowed with everything. And despite him being what, like we said this before, being a top star for AEW when they initially signed him in Penta. Like, this is a pay-per-view caliber match if booked properly. And, you know, for them to just throw it up on Dynamite after a week of since Phoenix is qualified, he feels like he's in an eliminator match. And we know what happens with eliminator matches on AEW Dynamite. They don't never work out. So this is a stepping stone. We're going to see Danny Garcia go up against Ospreay, and Rey Fenix is back to being a tag team after this week. It's very frustrating. It's a great match. I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see it go down, but it should be happening on pay-per-view, and it should be with a better build than what we're getting.
I think it's two wildly talented performers who are going to have a great match on TV. And this is sort of the new strategy that Tony Khan is employing. If we advertise exciting matches, first ever matches, big time matches, the audience is going to show up to see them. They know they're going up against sports playoffs, as you pointed out yesterday.
Yeah, the sports playoffs. I'm excited.
The sports playoffs are going on. So you need someone that's going to be like, oh man, I got to tune in to see X. The ratings have not really shown that really moves the needle. Ospreay is the guy for them. I think we've sort of seen that of late. He's blossomed into this complete performer. He's a guy who fires up the crowd. His promos are on point. He makes angles feel more important than they are. We saw that with the Roderick Strong stuff, and his matches are always incredible. And I think Christopher Reed hits on it here. Strategy for the sickos. Yeah, that might be it. You're booking for your hardcore fan base, and that's great if you're trying to sell DVDs in Reseda.
Right.
You're trying to sell a national television show. I'm excited to see Ospreay and Rey Fenix. I think it's going to be a great match, but I have that same feeling of like the Swerve main event last week where what did it get you? You had Swerve against Roderick Strong. It was a clean finish, and then there was no post-match angle.
And, it is. You can book for the sickos, but you can book for everybody. You don't have to just book for the sickos.
No, you don't want to book for everybody. Most people are idiots.
But that's what you want.
It's like the Bobby Heenan quote. The two things that scare me about wrestling fans is that they can procreate and they can vote.
It's true.
But you can have blockbuster matches. We saw on Raw, Ilya Dragunov and Braun Breaker was a barn burner of a match, but it furthered angles.
With Dragunov too and Breaker together, like you could see that. Okay, like Breaker got the better of him this time, but what can we expect next time coming forward?
Now, there's another side of this because there's people who are listening, who are watching this, who are AEW fans. They love what they're seeing. They're going, guys, we're getting a great match. Just shut up and enjoy it. And a part of me completely agrees. Just shut up and enjoy this. I think it's going to be a great match, and people are going to absolutely love it. But for the longevity of the company, for the way that wrestling sort of operates in 2024, you need to get more. And before somebody says you're an old man, you're yelling at clouds, if everybody was going wild for this, the ratings would be skyrocketing. And the fact is that the ratings over the last several years have gone down, and some folks have gone to a better place.
Let me ask you this, Robert. Has Ospreay lost since officially being a full-time member of the roster in AEW? Has he lost yet?
You're implying the win-loss records are matter in AEW.
Yeah.
No, I don't think he's lost since he's been a full-time member.
Mm-hmm.
But again, that's semantics because he's been on pay-per-views as not a full-time member and has not been successful. So I don't believe he's lost since he's signed. Andrew Hermes says only in a tag match.
There we go. So, like, think of the significance that would happen tonight if you had Rey Fenix beat Ospreay for that international championship, and then you completely spin my viewpoint on its head, where it's like, okay, he won. He's a singles championship, and they're moving forward with him, and they're moving forward with Ospreay at Forbidden Door. But then you also mentioned the fact Daniel Garcia wants that international gold and is called out Ospreay. So is that really going to happen? I don't think so, but that would be something. It would make Phoenix feel more significant than what he is currently slated at. So I don't know. There's a lot of frustrating aspects here. I'm excited for the match. Don't get me wrong, but it's just.
But that's you're hitting the nail on the head. Like, we should not be this trepidatious and frustrated about a match that we both really, really want to see.
Right.
This isn't like Ospreay versus Satnam Singh. All right, you're not giving us something that nobody wants. It's the fact that no, you don't. You're a sick man, Dom. You need help.
I'm a sicko.
You are, yes. That maybe that shirt is prison issue, and that's what's going on here. You're giving the fans something that they want, but not in the way that it should be presented, not in the way that it truly deserves. And I've said this before: you can book amazing 6-7 star matches every week if there's nothing behind them. I could literally just say, all right, you're going to get Jay White wrestling on the show tonight against Swerve. Just put that out there. That would deliver as a hell of a match.
Right.
Doesn't really mean a whole hell of a lot, but you could do it. You want to have some teeth behind it. Maybe I'm being too harsh. What else is there on the Dynamite?
Well, I know this will lighten your mood a little bit.
Oh,
it's
good.
Chris Jericho's TV Time talk show with guests, Private Party Mark Quinn and Isaiah Cassidy. Now, you know that this is for you, Robert. That's totally up your alley.
It is, because it gives me something to fast forward through. I'm kidding. No, I watch every minute of Dynamite. I like to see what they're doing. It's like studying the Zapruder film. You're now taking this TV Time with Chris Jericho thing to work with Private Party, whom we've had 3 or 4 starts and stops with. And this is another one of those where Chris is working with younger talent to pull them up. And then the problem is it doesn't go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So Private Party, I thought was going to be a team they were going to put some steam behind when they beat the Bucks at the onset of Dynamite.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, this is your new hot young team, and then nothing with them. Then you had Top Flight and nothing with them. And I understand there's injuries. I get that. Really unfortunate injuries that happen to both of those teams. But when they are there and they are healthy, you build them up and then do nothing with them. Private Party was entangled in that Hardy situation that seemed to exist on like Rampage.
Mm-hmm.
It was very hard to really pay attention. So yeah, they're going to put them on here, and we hope, like Charlie Brown about to kick the football, hey, this is the time that they're going to use this Jericho and Big Bill storyline to elevate a brand new, elevate a young tag team, not a brand new tag team, and make these guys stars. And then in a month, when they're not on television anymore, we'll be like, okay, have fun with Action Andretti.
Again, like, I know this isn't a match here, but this almost seems like a stepping stone for Jericho and Big Bill to get to Samoa Joe and Hook. Like, so you're, again, writing off a young team that should be getting built up properly since the inception of AEW, basically, and you're just putting them back on the back burner yet again. There's a lot of predictability going on in this card, as per usual with Dynamite. And yeah, I don't mean to dump on Dynamite, but listen, they have not had a good track record of making me think otherwise when it comes to what they're doing.
And we've said predictability is not a bad thing in wrestling.
No, not at all.
You want something that follows a logical progression rather than just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what happens. But when I'm looking at it now, and I see you sent there was more matches on there that we'll definitely want to dig into, but it's like, all right, I can already tell how this TV time segment is going to go, and I can already tell it's going to go 11 to 13 minutes when it should go 3 minutes or just not happen.
Right. And Robert, you mentioned it. There are some other matches on here, but it feels very paint by numbers in what's going to happen with no story in between, basically. We have Mercedes Moné. Help me with this name.
Not a chance. I want to watch this happen.
Mercedes Moné taking on Zeus. Zeus for the TBS Championship. Zeus. Okay, I like that one. I think that's the best one. But yeah, Robert. I mean, come on. What's going to happen here, huh?
She's going to wrestle Zeus.
Yeah.
And it's going to be it's going to be a hell of a match. It looks like Zeus had competed in the Mae Young Classic before, and she's an interesting one-off for Mercedes. It's clearly somebody for Mercedes to beat to show she can compete on an international scale.
Yes,
but it's one of those situations where, what am I getting? I know there was the other woman that they had a video package for and highlighted last week. I don't think that was Zeus, but it didn't stick with me enough to be like, oh, it's going to be this woman. So you have to set up a challenger for Mercedes for the Forbidden Door pay-per-view, and you have to show that she can work with a luchadora.
This is like really telling to like Tony Khan booking on the fly too. What we're getting, you got now Dustin Rhodes built to his match within a very small time frame by cutting a promo on Collision, I believe, and so now he will be facing Jack Perry for a qualifying match for that TNT Championship, and I'm intrigued by the match itself, like I am with Ospreay and Phoenix, in a different light, but we still know what's going to happen. This is all predicted. These are all eliminator matches, Robert, it feels like.
It's eliminator matches, and they're leveraging the fact that it's Dustin, who they did the same thing with him and Joe. You're trying to like leverage the guy who's Cody's brother.
Mm-hmm.
And create this fake sympathy around how he wants to win a title, and he's a sympathetic babyface that everyone's going to cheer for. So when the dastardly Jack Perry beats him, everybody's extra mad. We know that Jack Perry is gonna win,
mm-hmm.
and it'd be interesting if he didn't win, and they find another way to shoehorn him in there. But he's gonna win, and he's gonna beat an established guy who's gonna try to make him look good.
Yep. And then we have it's a 3-man tag. Mark Briscoe, Kyle O'Reilly, Orange Cassidy taking on Takeshita. Yes.
Very good.
Roderick Strong.
You screwed up Roderick. I love it.
And Kyle Fletcher. So fun match. 6-man tag going down. I like the baby faces on this side of the thing, but just furthering with the Don Callis family and that storyline when it comes to Orange Cassidy and what have you.
Yeah, there's no Trent in this match, so I'm sure we won't see Trent interfere in some way, shape, or form. Not at all. No chance. No chance whatsoever. It's a 6-man tag. The crowd will enjoy it. I think they'll be able to tell some sort of a story. It'll be fine. I'm trying to figure out why the United Empire and the Don Callis family want to work together.
Yes.
But that's also now trying to figure out the motivations of stables in AEW, because the purpose of a stable, kids, pull up a stool for the old man.
Okay.
God damn it, Tom, I hate you. I love you, Tom. You're the best. You're utilizing a manager to get the audience to react to whoever is associated with them. And a manager's sole goal is win titles and gain power and gain control. Be the most powerful, respected, whatever manager, because they can't wrestle themselves. So they are trying to live vicariously through the glory of their clients. The idea being when they win titles, they're making more money. So the manager's making more money. When you have the stables all working together and there's no clear directive as to why, we see this with the elite tapping in the patriarchy, the elite seemingly working with the Undisputed Kingdom, everybody working together. There's no reason to have different stables and divisions. It doesn't make a lot of sense. And you're putting these guys together. I get it. Hobbs is hurt, and you're trying to keep this thing aloft and afloat. I don't know why anybody necessarily is over the moon and excited for it, but it'll be a very solid 6-man tag. There's a comment here in the section. Wrestling Old Head asks, do you think Dustin Rhodes will be in WWE by the fall? I don't know when Dustin's contract is up, but absolutely. I think that the future for Dustin, he's kind of like Bryan Danielson in the fact that he wants to contribute to the young guys. He wants to build to the future, and he can still go in a somewhat meaningful way. All roads seems, no pun intended, seems to lead to him going to NXT as another guy, fulfilling your dad's legacy, being able to help with that brand, being able to build the future. And Dustin with the Nightmare Factory, and he has his own school, I believe, out in San Antonio, has shown
Rhodes Academy.
Yeah, you can train the next generation of talent and still be able to contribute. And guys, Goldust not in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, and it makes perfect sense for him to go back there. I actually heard on Paving the Way, the new Medusa, the refurbished Medusa show with one of our chat guys in here, Big Red Andrew Hermes. She happened to mention that she went down to Dustin Rhodes' training school and was watching him train some of the wrestlers, or it was for AEW actually. And a certain star she asked a certain star if she was going to get in the ring and train. She's like, no, I don't have to. I'm injured. And she was like, oh, well, what about just sitting ringside and just, learning a little bit about something? And she's like, no, it's voluntary. And Medusa was blown away by that. Like, hey, why aren't they doing it? And Dustin just says it's kind of like kids these days almost. And so I think he would want some incentive of, you're going into a structure of an NXT or a developmental system if he really likes doing that stuff. And you're going to get these talents that are eager to learn and have to learn one way or the other. There's protocol to doing that, where AEW seems a little more fast and loose. So there's some incentive for Dustin Rhodes to kind of go to WWE for sure, a little bit more than just name cachet, relation with Cody, et cetera, et cetera. So,
well, and again, Dustin is a guy who, despite his age, is still performing at a peak level. And guys,
oh my goodness,
if you're looking to perform at a peak level, regardless of your age, can we recommend our friends at Blue Chew? Let's talk about sex. Guys, remember the days when you were always ready to go? Now you can increase your performance and get that extra confidence in bed. Visit BlueChew.com. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but in chewable tablets and at a fraction of the cost. You can take them anytime, day or night, so you can plan ahead or be ready whenever an opportunity arises. The process is simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. The best part, it's all done online. No visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Blue Chew tablets are made in the USA and prepared and shipped direct to your door in a discreet package. Just like Dustin Rhodes, you're going to be an ageless wonder, and I have no follow-up to that.
I like it. Leave it there.
It works. It works as it is because Blue Chew wants to help you have better sex. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. Chew it and do it. The follow-up I was going to say is you can be a natural. I couldn't think of the word natural. It came to me now. Here we are because we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew free when you use our promo code RUMOR at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code RUMOR to receive your first month free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring this episode of Rumor and Innuendo.
Yes, thank you, Blue Chew. And like Wrestling Old Head said, the question is, did Finn or Dominic get Blue Chew Monday night?
All due respect to our sponsor, Blue Chew. But in a Liv Morgan situation, it can't hurt. It can't hurt. It can't hurt. But, look, enough said.
Hey, guess what else can't hurt? Is Forbidden Doors, actual Forbidden Doors going down. We have NOAH and WWE reportedly making a major announcement at the Buntai event in Yokohama on June 16th. A message from a certain wrestler is also being released. That's according to NOAH's Twitter account. So, hey, we're looking at a lot of these different things that WWE is doing. And AEW's got Forbidden Door, the pay-per-view itself, but they're actually really making those crossovers intriguing from TNA and NXT to now potentially NOAH here. So, Robert, it's just good stuff for WWE going on moving forward, huh?
I think what Hunter has always understood and respected was when you are a young talent, the opportunity to work in different environments is invaluable. Mm-hmm. So if there is some sort of a temporary talent trade, we saw with Charlie Dempsey going over to Japan before. Regal obviously knows the value of getting to compete over there. So the chance to maybe send some of the younger talent to go do a tour, a stretch in NOAH, would really be impactful. I remember years ago when we sent Wheeler Yuta over to Japan. And the performer that he was when he left, the performer he was when he came back, was almost night and day. So I think there's an absolute value in what NOAH can offer.
Right. I agree 100%. And it just speaks to the level of, hey, this Forbidden Door concept with AEW, it's really kind of overstayed its welcome and kind of time to move on from it. Hey, let's talk a little Vince McMahon, huh? I know Robert loves it.
I love it.
WrestleNomics was issued a statement by the Vince McMahon legal team regarding the feds getting involved with the legal case between him and Janelle Grant. So here it is. Mr. McMahon is eager to prove Miss Grant's claims are false and expose her lies, but it did not object to the government's request to pause the matter in connection with the investigation regarding disclosures at WWE. Following a 6-month stay when his legal team is able to get discovery and depose Miss Grant and others, the evidence will show that the relationship was consensual and Miss Grant's allegations are malicious fabrications of a jilted lover. Just found this kind of to be interesting that they're outright reacting to the feds getting involved. What do you think about this, Robert? Is this confidence in what they have, or is this them trying to steer the course as much as they can till the hammer drops?
It's posturing and controlling the narrative. It's what they've been trying to say all along, that this was consensual, and they're trying to make it seem that let the federal government get involved and uncover the evidence, because we're confident that the evidence that they're going to find is that of a fully consensual relationship. And when the federal government finds that, this case against Mr. McMahon will evaporate.
Yeah, but what we've talked about with the feds getting involved, it's usually like a 95% success rate that happens.
Well, by God, he beat the federal government before. He's going to beat him again.
Oh, how about that? Well,
how about it?
How about it, Pete Rose?
Yes. All right, we're gonna finish strong here with a moment of Cody Rhodesness.
Yes. Cody Rhodes was on NXT, Robert, and he reunited with AEW guys like Shawn Spears, Ethan Page, Lexis King, formerly known as Brian Pillman Jr. And that was kind of an interesting segment. I got to see the clip right before we recorded here.
I sent you the clip. That's why I know you saw the clip.
Yes. And and then on top of it, he gifted JC James his dashing Cody Rhodes mask. And then on top of it, after he was done appearing on NXT, he said, like I see, there's a magic at NXT. And I wanted some of it. Thank you to the Locker Room and USA Network for having me. Man, what a promotion artist Cody Rhodes is. Even name dropping USA Network in his tweet.
He's a smart man. Look, the little cute moment there with Ethan Page and Shawn Spears and Lexis King, that you guys look like you're in a better place right now to take the subtle shot at AEW. I maintain my consistency. Same thing I say with AEW is you don't really leave it alone. I get that it's a buzzy moment and it's going to get views and clicks or whatever, but in the grand scheme of things, I don't think it necessarily matters all that much. It's a fun thing. The moment with JC Jane is a little bit more fun, where you're giving the rub, so to speak. And I think that NXT gaining this air of unpredictability going into a battle royal next week can't hurt. And what can't hurt, guys, is catching all the different shows that Mr. Dominic D'Angelo is a skilled producer of.
Yes, one of a kind with RVD every Monday at 4:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Me and RVD drop that podcast. We go live too every week, a little bit before that. So be sure to tune in to rvdtv.com and OneTrueSportTV.com. You can catch us live, or you can catch an episode or a clip of RVD TV. On top of it, yes, Straight Talk with the Boss, Magnum TA and Greg Gagne. We talk about plenty, including MJF this week. Very topical, very informative, really fun conversation. We also talk a lot about Ken Patera and being in the Olympics and stuff like that. Really, really fun stuff there when it comes to Ken Patera. So be on the lookout for that at FourHorsemenNetwork.com, or again, check it out at OneTrueSportTV.com. Finally, Robert, I produce Working Stiff. So talk about that a little bit. We got a fun one on tap this week, too.
We got a fun show on tap this week. Myself, Dan Sinchermain, and Scott Chaplin are going to be talking who killed WCW and identifying who didn't kill WCW. Ooh. So that's going to be a blast. You can get that wherever you listen to your podcast. Same place you can get every episode of Rumor and Innuendo in audio format, so you can go comb through the archives and hear all the various ways in which Dom has mispronounced Kanosuke Takeshita. Yes. So on behalf of the linguist expert himself, Dominic D'Angelo, I'm Robert Karpelis. Best of luck in your future endeavors.
Konnichiwa.